What is going on?
Ah, nice.
Wow, she does have a water. Oh, wow. Thank you. Oh, my gosh, I love this stuff.
Hey guys, this is casual. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, if you burp, drink.
Gotcha.
And they're going to edit that, and then it's going to end up in the show.
Yeah, I see.
And they're going to be like, yeah, that intelligent guy that burps all the time.
I'm not a belchy person. That's probably more you.
My point is,
True.
Yeah, be just relaxed.
Yeah.
I am rolling again, so you do whatever you need to do. Hang on, let me do some game here. No, I'm not going to do that. And after I'm rolling here.
All right.
Huh?
So, cheerleading, Avila?
I cheered at Avila. The reason I cheered at Avila is they offered me a scholarship, and it's an all-girls team, and I was always a base because I'm buff, and so I needed to go all-girls. Plus, they offered me a scholarship, so I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I did that for a couple years, and then decided I had my sights set on bigger and better things, and decided to audition for the Chiefs, and made it, and cheered there for 3 years, and loved every minute of it.
So what was that like, auditioning for the Chiefs?
It wasn't as bad as I think a lot of people think it is. I guess it's probably gotten a little more competitive here in the last few years, but our team was not what you see on the Dallas Cowboys show, where they're mean to the girls and they tell them they're fat and all this other stuff. We actually had my director was someone that will always be in my life. She was just wonderful, wonderful person that just made everyone she meets feel special and valued, and she tried to bestow those characteristics on every single one of her girls. And I can't say enough about the program. It was great. Some of the best times of my life.
What attracted you to Celine?
Seriously, and a lot of people, until they really get to know her, don't realize how funny she is. She's really hilarious, and that's probably what really caught my eye, that I was not expecting when we went and had our first time out. But that's probably what grabbed me the first time, was just how funny she is.
Oh, that's nice, honey. You're so nice.
So I work with my husband. It does get trying. How does that affect your working relationship and your personal relationship? We actually get asked that all the time. We have people ask us all the time, how do you live and work together? And we actually, because we had a pretty solid relationship before we ever worked together, it wasn't one of those things where you meet someone at work and then you start dating them. We were already together, and then I decided to start working for him. I'll tell you, people ask me out of the gate, how do you work with your boyfriend? Mike and Dave in the shop there in Olathe. And I said, I wouldn't have it any other way. There's never a dull moment. It's constant. There's always something going on. And I love it. And I think it helps our relationship too, because we're both really driven, and we like to see the other person succeed. And so we kind of, high five each other and tell each other, you just killed it on that phone call, or, we try to be as encouraging as we can to each other.
Yeah, you always have your times that, you're on each other about something or other, but, for the most part, we get along a lot more than I think most people would expect for somebody that, when you spend all your time with people, normally that just gets on your nerves after a while. I don't care how much you love them. But we rarely, it's usually, it's usually probably something about her running late. That'll sometimes get me going. But it's a quick, you're late, and then it's over, and then we move on to the rest of the day.
The only thing I really get mad at is when he'll get a little forgetful at times. And what? So when I have to,
I don't remember that ever happening. But now that we've been together for 4 years, I know exactly the prompts I need to say. Okay, so we were here, and you were talking about this. She was wearing this color shirt, to try to remember. If I'm asking him, what were the details of a deal that we did, or what did that adjuster say? If they're mailing the check here or whatever, just. Eventually she'll hit on a keyword and it'll all come back to me.
And so
I'm like, oh yeah, red-haired girl, got it.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the way it goes.
And bring Mike in.
But do that later, okay?
Okay.
Is that good?
Gotcha.
Yeah, Jen will get together.
Do you want to move? Okay.
This is overseas too.
Oh, gotcha.
Just doing interviews with this.
I hear them.
No, you can sit down or whatever. That's AJ over there.
I don't.
Oh yeah, you can't have the background. Hey, Mike.
Sure, what do you want me to do?
It's picking you guys up.
Do what?
It's picking you guys up.
We're picking your noise up in the background.
Oh, I didn't know you guys were still doing.
Oh, no, we were just.
Just for like 5 more minutes.
Oh, okay, I thought you guys.
Practice
Yeah, go.
karaoke, we probably could do that.
Oh, let me get the dogs back in the.
We're fine.
Trying to steal the show? Is that what you're trying to do? Trying to steal the show?
So, you both worked with Mike for quite a while, and you decided to.
Yes, so we had worked for Mike, how long?
Well,
Over 2 years.
over 2 years. Yeah.
And that was something that we had talked to Mike about, was the opportunity to move up in what we're doing. And so we approached him in June of 2013, last year.
And there was also something that Mike and I had kind of thought about as far as franchising this company and how we were going to go about that. And so there's a couple things that came together there for Mike and me that really worked out. And that was just basically to start the first franchise with us. And then
Yeah, you just tell the story. You tell.
yeah, and then what's
You just tell how it came about. We talked to him about it, and
yeah, you'll probably remember more of the details of that though.
we approached Mike about it, and at first he seemed pretty sad. More to lose us, I think, as co-workers in the same place at the same time. But I think once that wore off, he kind of saw that was going to be an opportunity, and that this would be in the future a way for his salespeople to, basically a goal that they could put their eye on. If they've worked for Mike for 5 years or 10 years, that could be something that they could do as well. And so we worked out a favorable agreement on both sides, and we're very happy with the moves that we've made. And
It was bittersweet because we really, worked together real well, and it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it wasn't even like coming to work anymore. It was just fun to go to work every day. So even though we're on our own doing our own thing, it's like I said, it's bittersweet because it was so much fun working with the whole group together too. So, but we still get together, I think, plenty to make up for
Yeah.
it.
Well, we did it because we had to pay for a wedding, so we just had a pretty big wedding back in September a few months ago, and
I don't think
man,
that's so reasonable.
those are expensive. I'll tell you what, it's like a nice brand new car. You just pay off in one day.
In
you don't get to make payments on that over 5 years. So
No.
yeah, so we're pretty happy with our arrangement we've got.
So where did you first open your first franchise? Where did you start?
Well, what happened was it was really kind of a perfect storm of situations. I was home. I can't remember what I was home. Do you remember why I was in Kansas City?
Was it for pageant stuff?
Maybe, yeah.
I was down in New Orleans working that shop in New Orleans.
Yeah, and so I was up here, and it hailed in Topeka.
I think Mike is already in Oklahoma at that time too.
Yeah, he was.
So Mike was in Oklahoma.
He was kind of wrapping up shop.
I was wrapping up shop in New Orleans. Mike was starting one in Oklahoma, and I was just kind of like, as I didn't need guys, we were sending them up to Oklahoma to get that started. And then, it actually hailed in my hometown, Topeka. So for us to have a first storm, for us, it was like a pretty good situation because right out of the gate, I'd have a lot of connections there
and referrals, just
and stuff
low
like that.
hanging fruit.
I know
that we
people, and I could get, it'd be an easy small storm for us to kind of get started in, as opposed to like maybe something that a big city we'd get maybe over our head or something like that with. So
yeah.
It was big, but not too. It was going to be a good storm for us, but not too big that we couldn't handle it.
Yeah. So I went to Topeka, kind of checked it out.
made sure that it really hailed there, because sometimes you get these reports and you go and there's nothing there. And and it did. And so, you know, Dave and I had a sit-down conversation. We said, you know, we need to talk to Mike about doing this, and came up with our proposal, and Dave called Mike, and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Quarter to noon.
Mm-hmm. 15 till 12.
I got one. Give us a story. A fun day on the job. Tell me something that happened one time.
What's a funny story?
A funny one?
Interesting story, or, you know, give us a story.
Well, you know, we had
one had a
segways at one point.
Oh, what do you think?
And
we still have them. But
we
don't
do
use them
have them,
anymore.
yeah. So we used to use segways as part of our marketing, and we would go out on segways.
You can cover a lot of ground on a Segway, going in and out of these parking lots and flyering cars or whatever on these things. And turns out Segways are a little bit difficult and
a little bit
drive.
more dangerous than you might originally think.
Yeah.
And so Dave was down in Scottsdale.
That was the first wreck.
The first wipeout.
Yeah, I was down in Scottsdale and I was driving. I was going across just crossing the street and trying to get it across real fast, and hit a bump and completely yard sailed it all the way across the ground.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Ripped
tore
his
my shirt,
yeah.
tore my pants.
And some lady pulled over, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah. A couple old ladies pulled over, and I'm all out there on the ground,
like, "Are you okay?"
"Are you okay?" And I was just like, "Oh, give me a minute." And that was the first time. And then we hired a couple extra guys on and sent them out on these Segways, and it wasn't too long before they were doing the same thing, coming back, banged up.
I only
and
wiped
bruised.
out once, and then I kind of respected the Segway a little bit more, and cracked the fender. I think it's still cracked, right? Sorry.
Yeah, they took a beating. All of them did.
But I think the worst wreck was
definitely the worst.
Definitely
wreck.
the worst wreck was Nick's, our beloved sales guy, Nick. Tell the story of that. We were in the shop in New Orleans, and all I see is Mike just taking off running out the front door.
Down the street.
And
Nick had fallen off this thing, and he was on the ground and called me and said, "I need an ambulance right now." Like, there's no question in his mind he needed an ambulance. He was not going to be okay.
Well,
we're
what's funny to me
we were
about
really
that,
scared and freaked out, and ended up
well, what's funny to me about that is because Nick is such a jokester, and so for Mike to be on the phone and tell right away that he was not joking, I mean, it had to have been. That'd
be pretty bad.
Pretty bad. And so, you know, the next thing I know is Dave takes off outside after Mike. Did you get in your car, or how did that?
Mike's like walking down the street. He had no idea where he's going or anything. And so I like get the car. I'm like, well, get in. Let's figure out where he's at. We're not just we'll go on foot. So we go driving around, and we're still talking to him on the phone, and he's trying to tell us where he's at. And good thing that he had his cell phone next to him, because he was kind of back behind, because he had going between houses, kind of basically. He was behind some houses where there's like a little sidewalk or a run track behind the houses, so you wouldn't just stumble across him.
And there was a bush, and
you couldn't even see him from the road.
Yeah, so you wouldn't even have been able to see him from the road.
And he couldn't move. He had broken his femur.
And twisted it, right?
Yeah, it was a mess. So, and he could not move at all. It was so painful. So he was literally stuck right where he was. When we got there, make matters worse, he actually fell on top of a fire ant hill. I mean, it was like the worst scenario. I mean, so we got there before the ambulance did, but you can't move him. I mean, he's on this fire ant hill, and you know he's getting eaten up. You're like,
Yeah.
And so anyway,
it was a bad deal.
Yeah, it was a real bad deal.
So he went in. It was immediate surgery.
We decided to retire the
surgery.
Segways after that.
Yeah.
We're like, all right, that's probably as far as we need to go with those things.
That story may double as this one, but what was the worst day? You know, you got worried about each other, or the storm, or something like that.
He has to go. I don't know how you want to do this, but he has an appointment at 12. Should we not rush and interview him now and just?
Yeah, we'll get you later. We got the rest.
Well, I want to go there. I want to go there. I want to go to the chiropractor.
Okay.
to shoot.
Oh, you're gonna shoot at the you're going with the chiropractor?
Give me 60 seconds of the worst day you ever had.
Okay.
Well, you want to say when we call the cops? How do you call the cops on this?
You packed up a minute ago.
Okay.
Okay. You tell the story about it.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah, you're supposed to sit over there, right?
Should I be looking over here?
It's hard to tell a story to a chair.
Yeah. So we had sometimes you get people in this business that will
They're just trying to work the system.
Try to scam the system and try to work their insurance company for money. And they'll bring it in, and of course, a lot of times you can feel them out right away. Well, this couple had come in, or the guy had come in by himself actually, and brought his car in, said he wanted to get it fixed, whatever. So we were going through the insurance, got it all set up, and as soon as the insurance signed off on it, we started working on it. Well, he comes in maybe
like an hour and a half.
After we got the okay from the insurance. Say, hey, we're okaying this estimate for this dollar amount. They gave us the okay, and then they call the customer and say, hey, we okayed this car for $5,000 or whatever it was. So he hears that number, $5,000. He comes running over to our shop. He's like, whoa, stop working on the car. Stop working on the car. I just want to take my car now. I don't want any more work done on it.
Yeah.
And we're like, what? No. That's not. We don't like being used like that,
Yeah.
So,
well, and they sign a repair authorization. So it says, you're authorizing to do this work, and here's our agreement. And so what basically.
At the time, too, I didn't know how it was set. I was like, I'm not even sure you can legally do that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
we're like, we're going to need to hold off. We need to hold off right now. I'm going to call the insurance.
If you tell the insurance that you're going to do this work, you bill for it, and then you don't do the work, we were worried. We're like, well, we might be at fault or liability on some level here. So we
wanted to clear it with the insurance company about everything we were going to do. I said, I'm not going to give you your car back yet. We've already started working on it, so you owe some money on it. I'm going to find out from the insurance company what's going on. He's like, so he leaves, and before I really get any information back from the insurance company, because it's only been about 30 more minutes, he comes back with his wife and his kid. And his wife comes to the front door, and we're actually closed for lunch. So we just locked the door for about an hour so we could eat lunch, and we're waiting to hear back on this thing. Anyway, she comes banging on the door. I go up there to the door. I say, hey, we haven't heard anything back on your insurance yet, but I'll call you back I'll call you as soon as we figure out what we need to do on this thing. And I know they're trying to scam me the whole time, so I'm just a little bit perturbed anyway. So I'm not going to let her in my place. I'm like, we're closed for lunch right now. And so I go to close the door, and she barges into the place. Oh, I'm getting my car right now. I'm like, no, you owe money on that car, and I haven't been paid yet.
Right away, so.
Anyway, her husband comes in. I mean, it's a whole deal. I mean, there's short of me forcing her back out the door physically. Yeah. I had to let her in. I wasn't going to get.
So they're like, show us the estimate. Show us what you've done. And so we had to figure that up. So we figured it up, and
she's basically throwing a complete tantrum.
Yeah.
She didn't understand how we come to these. She didn't speak very good English. She didn't understand how we come to these dollar amounts.
I think she understood English just fine.
Yeah, was that a ploy?
Yeah.
We ended up having to call the police on them
because they didn't agree with the estimate, and they said, well, you have 4 hours of labor on here for R&I work, which is remove and install to gain access. But the car
you only had the car here for an hour and a half, and I didn't understand. It's not literally we're billing you for 4 hours. That's how it's billed out hourly.
That's how mechanics work. So if book time says it takes 2 hours to remove a bumper, if you have a guy that's been doing it for 10 years like we do, he can get it off in 10 minutes. But you still bill for 2 hours, and that's how the technicians end up making more money in the long run. Is they still bill at the book time, and then they can do it a lot quicker.
So the cops mediated the whole thing, ended up working out. Actually, to be honest with you, when it was all over, they were really happy when it was done, believe it or not.
But they just didn't really know how it worked, and so we had to call the cops on a customer. I'd have to say that's probably one of our worst days.
Yeah.
We gotta go, right?
Yeah.
We gotta go.
Gotta get the old man to the chiropractor.
10 seconds, okay, go.
This will be done in just a second. It's like 2 minutes.
Okay, let's just walk out and then walk back in. Anytime. No, just do what you do.
Alright, head straight down. Go ahead and drop your arm straight down to the floor like we did last time. That's good, brother. You can sit up, turn and face me. All right, sir. See you tomorrow.
Good. All right.
See you
Here it
tomorrow.
comes.
Take care. Yeah.
You want to just settle up at the end of the week?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Just do that walk-in thing like we did before. That's good.
Yeah, the beer, you just go in this weird setup.
It's pretty set.
Pop the top. It's literally pointing right at your head right now. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Think about it here.
Oh, hey.
All it starts with spritzer. All this starts with spritzer. I was telling them the irony. I go, it's so ironic that girls can't take their art skills on a daily basis. We'll be damn sure she has to risk the day on her prenatals.
We forget about Anna. Oh, I haven't taken like 3 days. I'm just gonna take 3 at once. Should be fine.
Yeah, that works.
3 days. Sure it does.
Well.
Well, it works. It's not for me.
He works every time, 99% of the time.
So you're saying you're taking 3s, that's going to work.
Getting off for all.
Yeah, but just this time.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about.
What time is golf? 2:30.
Yeah, it's more speaking of that, are we eating here? Looks like it's just gonna be a crapshoot on the golf course.
By the way, do you guys know how difficult it is to buy beer here?
Do what?
Do you know how difficult it is to buy beer here? I go to the liquor store and they can't sell cold beer.
No, they can't.
So they can only sell warm beer.
Yeah,
and
so you
then
have to chill it.
they don't have
Then we just
Bud
rush
Light,
home.
Miller
Yeah,
Lite.
so that way you got to think about what you do.
After
There's a
9
liquor
months
store
next to every gas station. Completely understand.
So then they don't have Bud Light or Miller Lite. They only sell it like
It's even more
Target.
confusing than Kansas. You can buy your booze in here, but you can't buy your mixers here. You
Yeah,
gotta go to
and
this
they don't have
weird
ice.
There's weird little nook and cranny in the same building.
They're never air
Same
conditioner
door,
heated.
but there's a wall in between the two with a separate cash
Which
register.
makes it totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, I got it done, but it wasn't easy.
That's the important.
I wouldn't know because I've never stepped
Like they think because they serve it warm, they're gonna lower alcohol.
Well, I guess Bud.
I'm not alcoholic now. Thank God because
So they
this will
make-
slow them down. Yeah, it's all because they only sell warm beer. Otherwise, I'd be raging alcoholic.
They don't think we'll drink warm beer?
Then they have the
Yeah,
lower
raging
point, so
alcoholic.
Bud and
Don't drink warm beer.
Miller
I'm saying
sell
that. I think
a
of
higher
stopping
point
warm beer.
alcohol here because they make more money selling the lower point at Target.
Because you gotta drink.
So you got to drink twice as much today.
It's just retarded. Good thing I like beer.
I gotta drink a third floor. That's
Are we actually having teams?
I don't know. Probably me and Hobbs probably.
All
really nice set of
and
We'll just run the fucking table in
I'll
this deal.
try the golf cart.
We'll probably
About $100 a hole.
He's gonna help me golf carts over.
put you with or
I'll do the beer cart.
We'll probably put you.
She can drive ours. You can drive ours.
I'll drive and bartend.
So we'll probably put you.
Okay, so us four will be on one.
But we'll stay.
We'll stay
You,
close,
Ian,
but
Dave, and Mike.
he has to be like close, so it's just easier.
You guys are lucky. You guys are lucky. But I'm like, you can't pop it off.
No, not at all. But I want to play. I like it.
Speaking of which, no one's
Should we order some? Go get some food?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We should go order, right?
I forgot, we're at a restaurant.
Oh, we don't have servers?
No, it's serve yourself. It's a country store, buddy.
Mike?
So it's all set. Oh, yours. And I'm gonna do the. I'll do. You remember St. Valentine's Day?
It's actually awesome.
Just brisket or?
I got the brisket.
I mean, not like you, for 6 months.
I think you got a grander size.
That is where I gain most of my
Is it really? Yes, I did know that. Yeah, you told me that.
Carrie?
Did you get brisket?
Just eat right off the top of the table. See where we put these.
Sauce. Emptied it out.
everything going? Good. Yeah. Yeah. You're not like showing near this month, but like.
It's not it's good.
Yeah, I know. That's your take your time.
It's not Oklahoma.
Have you
That's spicy.
been sick or the first trimester was horrible?
Sissy sauce? Huh? The sissy sauce?
After that, like,
That's probably you.
I feel better without really nauseous. So yeah, it's a lot better than it was.
Are you experiencing smells?
Oh, everything is like times 100.
Yeah. That's what one of my friends just told me was pregnant. She's like normally she would go work out like at these classes or whatever. And she's like, normally I stick out and like talk to people and stuff. She's like, I'm just out of there. So she's like, I started smelling people and I'm like, get me out of here. This is a lot of chicken.
Dude, the chicken dish is awesome.
How's your sandwich, Ross?
It's good. It's good. I'm not putting it up there with the home good, but it's good.
I don't know if there is anything.
Would they give you two? That was weird.
The sauce is spicy. I like that.
Spicy?
Spicy?
That was sissy. Would you like some?
I'm going spicy.
To be 2 meats out.
What sauce were you using?
The regular stuff. Spicy.
It's gluten-free, Tyler.
Oh, is it?
No HFCS.
So I heard you
addiction?
What do you mean?
I heard you're a little addicted.
No, that you are able to return stuff.
Oh yeah, the Whole Foods returner.
No, if you don't like something, you can return it.
Even after you've eaten.
Try it, yeah.
Really?
Everything's so damn expensive there. If I paid $18 for fried chicken, I was like, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But then you have to try all the lobster. That's kind of a good policy.
Never mind.
You know?
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that kind of stuff.
I spent about $300. I mean, 2 to 300. What?
You feel better? You feel better? It'll make you swim. You pretty healthy about it? Feel pretty healthy? Not feeling so healthy today? He went out big Saturday night. So I was supposed to come out, but
Where'd you go?
it wasn't gonna work out.
It was, everyone went hard.
I'm probably glad I didn't do it.
Yeah, hotel and then went to some
Who?
I know stuff. He lives right outside. Right behind me.
right behind him.
Some after hours?
I had a
If you go to the Zip's house, shit's getting ready.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent.
It got weird.
Basement.
It's like
Dairy, like a dairy.
from the crash grocery store, that was like apple cream.
Oh wait, this is a pretty good region. Yeah.
This is very unique.
And you just pop that lid off.
Missouri.
Pour it out.
That'd be way too.
I'm gonna do that.
We
I like my shit
you
saucy.
guys ever watch Dave Chappelle?
All that.
Yes.
We watch Dave Chappelle because it's called Ignoring Her. We watch like reruns all the time. And have you ever seen where they play the World Series of Dice?
Oh, I have
I
some.
don't think so.
So good.
He's like grits and gravy, Kansas City, Missouri.